The rain fell in whispers against the concrete, cold and relentless. Sophia pressed herself deeper into the doorway, her torn umbrella doing little to shield the wilted roses scattered around her bare feet. New York at midnight was a city of ghosts and neon, and she had become part of its forgotten landscape. She hadn't eaten in 2 days. A black car slid to a stop in front of her, sleek and foreign, the kind that cost more than most people's homes. She kept her eyes down, waiting for it to pass. They always did, but the door opened. Polished shoes, stepped onto wet pavement. Expensive, clean. A man in a charcoal suit stood before her, rain darkening his shoulders. His face was sharp, carved from stone and shadow, eyes like winter. How much for all of them? His voice cut through the rain, deep, controlled, the kind of voice that gave orders and expected obedience. Sophia looked up slowly. They're dying. So are you. The words hung between them, brutal and true. She felt her chest tighten. $200, she whispered, testing him. Expecting him to laugh. To leave, he pulled out his wallet without hesitation, counted out $500 bills, placed them in her trembling hand. Keep the change. And this, he shrugged off his coat, draped it over her shoulders. The fabric was warm, smelling of cedar and something dark she couldn't name. My driver will take you somewhere warm. No arguments. Why? He paused, rain streaming down his face. For a moment, something flickered behind those ice-cold eyes. Pain, maybe, or recognition. Because someone should have done this for me once. They didn't. He turned to leave. Wait. The word escaped before she could stop it. What's your name? He glanced back, rain catching in his dark hair. Jackson Blackwell. The name hit her like a fist. She knew that name. Everyone did. Billionaire, CEO, the man who owned half of Manhattan, and you are? She hesitated. The truth was dangerous. The lies were all she had left. Sophia. His eyes narrowed, studying her face with an intensity that made her breath catch, like he was searching for something. Like he almost recognized her no last name. Not anymore. Something passed between them in that moment. An understanding. They were both running from something. Jackson pulled a business card from his pocket, pressed it into her palm alongside the money. Come to this address tomorrow. 10 a.m. I have a job offer. I don't understand. You will. He climbed back into his car. The door closed with a whisper of wealth. But before the car pulled away, he lowered the window one last time. Sophia, he called out. Whatever you're hiding from, it's going to find you eventually. Might as well have something worth losing when it does. The car disappeared into the rain-soaked night. Sophia stood frozen. His coat heavy on her shoulders, the business card burning in her hand. She looked down at the embossed letters. Jackson Blackwell, CEO Blackwell Industries, and beneath it, handwritten in sharp script, everyone deserves a second chance. Even people like us. Her fingers traced the words. People like us. He didn't know who she really was. Didn't know that 5 years ago, she was Charlotte Heiress, heiress to a fortune. A girl who vanished the night her parents' empire burned. A girl everyone believed was dead. The rain fell harder. Sophia clutched the card, feeling the weight of a choice she didn't know she'd make. When she looked up, a figure stood at the end of the alley, watching, waiting. Her blood turned to ice they'd found. Her Sophia ran. The figure in the alley didn't follow, but she felt eyes on her back as she fled through rain-slicked streets. By the time dawn broke over Manhattan, she'd made her decision. The only way to disappear was to hide in plain sight. Blackwell. Industries rose like a glass cathedral above the city. Sophia stood at its base at 9:45 a.m. Jackson's coat still wrapped around her shoulders, his card clutched in her fist. The lobby was all marble and money. She didn't belong here. Everyone could see it. Miss Sophia. A woman in a pristine suit appeared beside her. Professional. Cold. Mr. Blackwell is expecting you. 32nd floor. The elevator ascended in silence. Sophia watched the city shrink beneath her. wondering if she was rising toward salvation or falling into a trap. The doors opened to reveal Jackson standing by floor-to-ceiling windows, his silhouette dark against the morning light. He didn't turn. "You came. You knew I would. Did I?" He faced her then, and she saw exhaustion carved into his features, like he hadn't slept. Most people would have taken the money and run. Maybe I'm not most people. His lips curved, almost a smile. Almost. "No, you're definitely not." He gestured to a chair. Sophia sat, feeling small in the vast office. Jackson remained standing, studying her with that same unsettling intensity from the night before. "I'm going to ask you something," he said. "And I need the truth." Her heart hammered. "All right, are you running from the law?" "No, from someone who wants to hurt you." She hesitated. "Yes." Jackson nodded slowly, like he'd expected this. "Then we have something in common." He moved to his desk, pulled out a folder, placed it in front of her. "Personal assistant. 60,000 a year to start. You'll work directly with me. Long hours. Difficult work. But you'll be safe. This building has security most government facilities would envy." Sophia stared at the contract, her hands shaking. "Why would you do this?" "You don't know me, because 5 years ago, I was you." His voice went quiet, dangerous. "Homeless, desperate, running from a past that wanted me dead. Someone gave me a chance when they didn't have to. I've been looking for a way to repay that debt ever since, by saving random strangers. By saving ones who remind me of myself." "What?" Their eyes met. Sophia saw the truth there. The scars hidden beneath the expensive suit. Jackson Blackwell wasn't just a cold CEO. He was a survivor, just like her. "One condition," she said softly. "Don't ask about my past. Deal. Don't ask about mine." She signed the contract with a borrowed pen, her hand forming letters she hadn't written in 5 years. The name Sophia felt like a costume, but it was the only armor she had left. "Welcome to Blackwell Industries," Jackson said, extending his hand. When their fingers touched, electricity shot through her. His grip was firm, warm, alive. For a moment, neither of them let go. "Thank you," she whispered. "Don't thank me yet." He released her hand, but his eyes stayed locked on hers. "This world eats people like us alive. Stay sharp. Trust no one. Not even me. Especially not you." His smile was blade sharp. "Smart girl." The weeks that followed were a blur of learning and survival. Sophia absorbed everything. The business, the politics, the careful dance of power Jackson performed every day. She became his shadow, anticipating his needs before he spoke them. But at night, alone in the small apartment he'd arranged for her, she researched, digging into Jackson's past, trying to understand the man who'd saved her. What she found made her blood run cold. 10 years ago, Jackson Blackwell didn't exist. The name appeared from nowhere, attached to a string of brilliant business deals and ruthless acquisitions. Before that, nothing. He'd erased himself, just like she had. Working late? Sophia jumped, slamming her laptop shut. Jackson stood in her office doorway, his tie loosened, shadows under his eyes. "I could ask you the same thing." He entered without invitation, settling into the chair across from her. This close, she could see the exhaustion, the weight he carried. "Can't sleep," he admitted. "Haven't been able to for years?" "Nightmares?" "Memories. Worse than nightmares." Silence stretched between them, heavy with things unsaid. "Jackson," she began carefully, "if someone from your past showed up, would you want to know?" His eyes snapped to hers, suddenly sharp, alert. "Why? Did something happen?" "No. I just wonder sometimes if running away ever really works, or if the past always catches up." He leaned forward, his voice dropping to barely a whisper. "It always catches up, Sophia. The question is whether you're strong enough to face it when it does. And if you're not, then you pray the people around you are stronger." Their faces were inches apart now. Sophia could feel the heat radiating from him, could see the war raging behind those winter-cold eyes. Something was breaking between them. Some invisible wall crumbling. Jackson's hand moved to her cheek, gentle despite the calluses. "Who are you really?" The question hung in the air like smoke. Before she could answer, his phone buzzed. Jackson glanced at it, and his face went white. "What is it?" He stood abruptly, all business again. The moment shattered. "Emergency." "I have to go. Jackson, wait." But he was already at the door. He paused, his back to her. "The man who gave me my second chance." His voice was hollow. "They just found his body. He's been dead for 3 days." The door closed. Sophia sat alone in the silence, her heart racing. She pulled out her phone with shaking hands and opened the message she'd received an hour. "Go, unknown number? Charlotte Heiress? We know you're alive. We know where you are. Time to come home." Attached was a photo, her entering Blackwell Industries this morning, and in the background, partially hidden, a figure she recognized, Jackson Blackwell. The man who'd saved her was in the photo from 5 years ago. The night her family's empire burned. The night she disappeared, he'd been there. He'd always been there. Sophia didn't sleep. She sat in her apartment, staring at the photo, until her eyes burned. Jackson's face, younger but unmistakable, half hidden in the crowd outside the Heiress estate. The night everything burned, at 6 a.m., she was waiting in his office. Jackson arrived at 7, his suit wrinkled, his eyes red-rimmed. He stopped when he saw her. "You look like hell," she said quietly. "Funeral arrangements." He moved to his desk, poured whiskey despite the early hour. Marcus deserved better than a closed casket. Marcus was his name, the man who saved you. Jackson drank, his throat working. "Marcus Chen. He found me bleeding in an alley 12 years ago. Gave me everything. A name. A future. A reason to live. And someone murdered him. Someone sent a message." Jackson's hand tightened on the glass. "They want me to know I'm not untouchable." Sophia stood, her legs unsteady. "Jackson, I need to ask you something. And I need the truth." He looked at her then, really looked, and she saw recognition dawn in his eyes. Fear, understanding. It wasn't a question. "Were you there?" Her voice cracked. 5 years ago. The Heiress fire. "Were you there?" The silence was answer enough. Jackson set down his glass carefully. "Precisely. How long have you known who I was?" "Since last night." "Your turn. How long have you known about me?" "The moment I saw you." His voice was flat. "Dead. Charlotte Heiress. Missing heiress. Presumed dead in the fire that killed your parents?" I recognized your eyes. "Same green as your mother's." The name hit her like a physical blow. Charlotte. She hadn't heard it in 5 years. "You knew." Anger flooded through her. "This whole time, you knew who I was, and you said nothing. The job, the apartment, the kindness, it was all a lie." "No." Jackson moved toward her, but she stepped back. "Charlotte, listen to me. Don't call me that. That girl is dead. Then why are you here? Why did you take the job? Stay close to me." His voice rose, cracking with emotion. "Because some part of you remembered me too. Some part of you knew we were connected." Sophia's hands trembled. "I don't know you." "Yes, you do." Jackson's composure shattered. "I was there that night, Charlotte. Not to hurt you. To save you. My parents died in that fire." "I know. I tried to stop it." His voice broke. "God, I tried. But I was too late. The only thing I could save was you." She stared at him, her world tilting. "What are you talking about?" Jackson's face was anguish made flesh. "Your uncle, Richard Heiress. He ordered the hit. Your parents discovered he'd been embezzling millions from the family trust. They were going to expose him. So he hired people to make it look like an accident." "Oh, no, that's not possible. I was part of his security team." Jackson's words came faster now, desperate. "I didn't know what he'd planned until it was too late. I got you out through the back. You were unconscious from smoke inhalation. I left you 2 blocks away where the paramedics would find you. Sophia's legs gave out. She gripped the desk. You're lying. I wish I was. Jackson pulled out his phone, hands shaking, and showed her a photo. Richard Heiress shaking hands with a man in a suit. This was taken 3 days ago. Your uncle. Meeting with Marcus's killer. The room spun. He knows you're alive, Jackson continued, his voice rough. He's known for months. And now he knows you're with me. The one person who can testify against him? Why didn't you go to the police? 12 years ago? Why didn't you tell someone? Jackson laughed, bitter and broken. I was nobody. A bodyguard with a record. No one would have believed me. So I disappeared. Built myself into someone who couldn't be ignored. Someone powerful enough to protect the people I couldn't save before. Someone powerful enough to protect me. Yes, tears burned Sophia's eyes. You should have told me, I know. I trusted you. I know. Starting to feel something for you. Jackson's face crumpled. Charlotte, stop calling me that. She turned away, her body shaking. That girl died in the fire. I'm Sophia now. Just Sophia. And I don't know who you are. I'm the man who's been in love with you since the moment I carried you out of those flames. The confession hung in the air between them, raw and devastating. Sophia turned slowly, tears streaming down her face. What? I've spent 12 years trying to forget you. Jackson's voice was barely a whisper. Building empires. Making money. Gaining power. All of it meaningless. And then I saw you on that street corner, rain-soaked and alive, and I knew God had given me one chance to make things right. By lying to me. By keeping you safe. His control finally broke. Jackson crossed the room, gripping her arms. Richard has spent 5 years looking for you. If he finds out you have your memories, you're dead. If he knows what you mean to me, you're worse than dead. So yes, I lied. I'd lie 1,000 times to keep you breathing. Let me go. No, his grip tightened. Not until you understand. I'm not the good guy here, Charlotte. I'm the monster who couldn't save your parents, who abandoned you in an alley, who's been too much of a coward to tell you the truth. But I'll be damned if I let Richard Heiress take one more thing from me. I'm not yours to lose, aren't you? He kissed her then. Hard and desperate and full of 12 years of guilt and longing, Sophia froze, her mind screaming at her to push him away. But her body betrayed her, her hands fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer. The kiss deepened, turning from desperation to something darker, hungrier. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. This doesn't change anything, Sophia whispered against his lips. I know I still don't trust you. Good. You shouldn't. But I need you. Jackson's forehead pressed against hers. I need you too. More than air. More than redemption. The door burst open. Both of them spun to find a woman standing there. Tall, elegant, familiar. Sophia's heart stopped. Hello, Charlotte, the woman said with a cold smile. It's been a long time. Jackson stepped in front of Sophia, his body a shield. Victoria? How did you get past security? The same way I got past it 12 years ago. Victoria Heiress, Charlotte's aunt, Richard's wife, stepped into the office. By owning them. Sophia's voice was hoarse. Aunt Victoria, you're working with him? Working with him? Victoria laughed. Darling, whose do you think this all was? Richard is a fool. He wanted to steal. I wanted to burn it all down and collect the insurance. Your parents were just collateral damage. Jackson's hand moved to his pocket. A weapon? A phone? But Victoria was faster. She pulled a gun from her purse, aiming it casually at Sophia's chest. Don't be stupid, Jackson. You've already lost one father figure this week. Would be ashamed to lose your little pet, too. She has nothing to do with this, Jackson growled. She has everything to do with this. She's the Heiress heir, the only one left with a legal claim to the fortune. As long as she's alive, my money's tied up in probate. Victoria's finger moved to the trigger. Time to finish what we started. Sophia stepped out from behind Jackson, her fear crystallizing into rage. You killed my parents. I killed a lot of people, dear. You'll have to be more specific why. Because they were weak, sentimental, They cared more about legacy than profit. Victoria's eyes glittered. But you and I? We're survivors. We do what's necessary. So here's my offer. Walk away. Disappear again. Stay dead, and I'll let you and your broken bodyguard live. And if I don't, Victoria smiled, then I'll kill him first. Make you watch. Then I'll kill you slow. Jackson's hand found Sophia's, squeezed once. A message. Trust me. There's a third option, he said calmly. Oh? You leave now, and I don't release the files. Victoria's smile faltered. What files? Marcus Chen. Before he died, he sent me everything. 12 years of evidence, photos, bank records, testimony from 6 separate witnesses linking you and Richard to the fire, 2 for other murders. To enough fraud to put you away for life? Jackson's smile was terrifying. I've had it uploaded to every major news outlet, timed to release in 6 hours, unless I enter a code to stop it. The gun in Victoria's hand wavered. You're bluffing. Try me. The standoff stretched. Seconds became eternities. Finally, Victoria lowered the gun. This isn't over. It never was. She backed toward the door, her eyes never leaving them. Charlotte Jackson, enjoy your borrowed time. We'll be seeing each other again very soon. The door closed. Sophia collapsed. Jackson caught her, holding her tight as she shook. Is it real? She whispered. The evidence? Jackson's silence was answer enough. You lied again. I know. She's going to kill us. Probably. Sophia pulled back, looking into his face. Then we run. Tonight, we disappear and spend our lives looking over our shoulders. Better than being dead. Jackson cupped her face in his hands. I'm done running, Charlotte. I've been running for 12 years. It's time to fight. We can't win. Maybe not. He kissed her forehead. But we can take them down with us. Jackson. Go home, Pack. I'll pick you up at midnight. We're ending this? How? His smile was sharp as broken glass. By giving them exactly what they want? The plan was suicide, dressed as strategy. Sophia sat in Jackson's car at midnight, watching the Heiress estate loom in the darkness. The same mansion where she'd grown up, where her parents had died, where everything had ended and begun. Last chance to walk away, Jackson said quietly. We're past that. She checked the wire hidden under her shirt. Are you sure this will work? No. His honesty should have terrified her. Instead, it steadied her. If this goes wrong, she began. It won't, Jackson, if it does. I need you to know. She turned to him, memorizing his face in the darkness. I forgive you. For everything. His jaw tightened. I don't deserve it.
Ow.
That's not how forgiveness works. He pulled her close, his kiss gentle this time, tender, like he was memorizing her too. When this is over, he whispered against her lips, I'm taking you somewhere far from here. Somewhere clean. Somewhere we can start over. Promise? On my life? They drove through the gates. The mansion blazed with light, a beacon of old money and older sins. Richard and Victoria were expecting them. The door opened before they could knock. Richard Heiress stood there, older than Sophia remembered, his face carved with cruelty and time. Charlotte, his voice was warm, paternal, poisonous. God, you're alive. We thought you were dead. You hoped I was dead. His smile didn't reach his eyes. Come in, please. We have so much to discuss. The foyer was exactly as she remembered. Marble, chandeliers, family portraits lining the walls. Her parents smiled down at her from gilded frames, frozen forever in better times. Victoria waited in the study, a glass of wine in hand. The prodigal niece returns. How dramatic. Where's the FBI? Jackson demanded. Richard chuckled. Straight to business. I like that. They're listening, of course. Vans parked 2 blocks away. Full tactical team. He poured himself a drink. But they won't move until they hear what they came for. Confession, Sophia said. Precisely. Victoria set down her wine. You're wearing a wire, obviously. This whole thing is a setup. You think you're clever? Recording us admitting to murder. Are you? Jackson's hand moved to his jacket. Careful, Richard warned. There are snipers on the roof. One wrong move, and Charlotte dies. Just like her parents. Sophia's blood ran cold. But she forced herself to stay calm. Then let's talk. You killed my mother and father. Burned them alive for money. For survival, Victoria corrected. Your parents were weak. They would have destroyed everything our family built. They were good people. Good people don't survive in our world, Charlotte. They die young and leave fortunes to those smart enough to take them. Richard moved closer. But you're different. You're a Heiress. You understand power, legacy. You could join us. Take your rightful place. By forgiving you for murdering my family, by recognizing that family is just a word. Richard's eyes glittered. We're the ones still breathing. That makes us the winners. Jackson's hand twitched toward his weapon. Sophia grabbed it, holding tight. There's just one problem with your plan, she said to Richard. Oh, you assume the FBI is coming to arrest you. Richard's smile faltered. They're listening to every word, yeah? But not for you. Sophia pulled out her phone, pressed play. Jackson's voice filled the room. A recording from 2 hours ago? My name is Jackson Blackwell. 12 years ago, I worked security for Richard Heiress. He ordered me to plant explosives in the Heiress estate, to make it look like an accident. I did it. I'm guilty. The Heiresses are innocent. Sophia watched the color drain from Richard's face. What is this? Victoria hissed. A confession, Jackson said calmly. Fully witnessed. Legally binding. I'm turning myself in for the murder of Charlotte's parents. She didn't do it. Sophia's voice broke. Jackson, what are you doing? He looked at her with infinite sadness. Keeping my promise. Making sure you're safe. No, we had a plan. The plan changed. Locked them around his own wrists. FBI's on their way. They have my confession. Video evidence of me at the scene. Everything they need to close the case. Gosh, you're lying, Richard snarled. We paid you. There are records. Records I've erased. Money I've returned. As far as anyone knows, I acted alone. A disturbed employee with delusions of grandeur. Jackson's smile was broken. You're free, both of you. Charlotte gets her inheritance, her life back, and I get what I've deserved for 12 years. Prison, Sophia whispered. Justice. Victoria laughed, high and sharp. You're insane. Why would you do this? Jackson looked at Sophia, and his eyes held everything he couldn't say. Because some people are worth saving, even if it costs everything. Sirens wailed in the distance. No, Sophia grabbed his face, forcing him to look at her. I won't let you do this. Tell them the truth. About Richard. About Victoria. About all of it. Can't prove it. Marcus's evidence was real, but not enough for prosecution. This is the only way to make sure they can't touch you. I don't care about me. I care about you. I know. He kissed her once more, soft and final. That's why I have to do this. The doors burst open. FBI agents flooded the room, weapons drawn. Jackson Blackwell, you're under arrest for the murder of Thomas and Elizabeth Heiress. They pulled him away from her. Jackson didn't resist. He kept his eyes on Sophia as they read him his rights. Jackson, please? She tried to reach him, but the agents held her back. Tell them the truth. The truth is, I love you. His voice carried across the chaos. I've loved you since the moment I saw you, and I'll love you when I'm gone. Don't do this, please. We can fight this. You fight. Charlotte. Live. Be happy. That's all I've ever wanted. They dragged him toward the door. Sophia broke free, running after him. I won't let you go. I won't. Jackson stopped at the threshold, looking back one last time. Yes, you will, because you're stronger than me. Always have been, Jackson. But he was gone. Disappeared into a sea of badges and flashing lights. Sophia collapsed, her body racked with sobs. Around her, the mansion fell silent. Richard and Victoria stood frozen, their faces masks of shock. "Get out," Sophia whispered. Charlotte, Richard began. "Get out." She stood, her voice raw. "This house is mine. My parents' legacy is mine. Everything you tried to steal, everything you killed for, it's mine now. And I swear on my parents' graves, I will destroy you. Both of you. I'll spend every dollar, every breath, every moment of my life making sure you pay." Victoria's face twisted. "You have no proof." "I don't need proof. I have time, resources, and nothing left to lose." Sophia's smile was terrible. "Jackson gave me everything by taking the fall, and I'm going to use it to bury you." The FBI let her out gently. They had questions, forms, procedures. Sophia answered mechanically, her mind somewhere else. With the man who'd sacrificed everything. 3 months later, Sophia stood in the lobby of Blackwell Industries. She'd bought the company with her inheritance. Every share, every asset, it was hers now. Jackson's empire, Jackson's dream, Jackson's sacrifice. She'd visited him once. He'd refused to see her. The lawyer had delivered his message. "Tell her I'm sorry. Tell her to move on. Tell her I'm exactly where I deserve to be." But Sophia wasn't moving on. She was digging, hiring investigators, building a case, brick by brick, against Richard and Victoria. She'd promised Jackson she'd live. She never promised she'd live quietly. Her phone buzzed. "Unknown number." She answered yes. "Miss Heiress. This is Special Agent Chen, FBI. I need you to come to the federal courthouse immediately." Her heart stopped. "Why? What happened?" "We've found new evidence. In the Heiress case, you need to hear this." Sophia was in her car before the call ended, driving too fast through city streets. Her mind raced. New evidence. After 3 months, the courthouse loomed before her. Agent Chen waited at the entrance, his face unreadable. "What's going on?" Sophia demanded. "There's someone you need to see." He led her through security, down empty corridors, to a small room with a two-way mirror. On the other side sat a man, old, broken, dying. Marcus Chin. Sophia's legs nearly gave out. "He's alive. Jackson said he was dead. He was supposed to be. Barely survived. Been in a coma for 3 months." Agent Chen's voice was tight. "He woke up yesterday, and he's talking." Through the glass, Marcus raised his head. His eyes found hers, even though she knew he couldn't see her. His voice crackled through the speaker, weak but certain. "I'm ready to testify. Everything. Richard Heiress. Victoria Heiress. The fire. All of it." He coughed, his body trembling. "And I need you to tell Jackson Blackwell that his debt is paid. He saved my life twice. Time I return the favor." Sophia's vision blurred with tears. "There's more," Agent Chen said quietly. "We've been investigating your uncle and aunt. Federal racketeering. Money laundering. 3 more murders we can prove. They're going down, Miss Heiress. All of it. And Jackson." Agent Chen smiled. "He'll be released by end of day. All charges dropped. Full exoneration." The world tilted. Sophia gripped the wall for support. "Where is he?" "Being processed out now." Turan. The rain had returned. Sophia stood outside the federal detention center, her clothes soaked through, watching the entrance. They'd said an hour. It had been 3. Thunder rolled across the sky. She didn't move. The doors finally opened. Jackson emerged slowly, like a man learning to walk again. Prison had carved him thinner, harder. His hair was longer, his eyes darker. But when he saw her standing there in the rain, something broke across his face. Wonder, disbelief, pain. "Charlotte." She ran to him, crashed into him. Her arms wrapped around his neck, holding on like she could anchor him to this moment. "You're an idiot," she sobbed against his chest. "A stupid, noble, self-sacrificing idiot. His arms came around her, hesitant at first, then crushing. You weren't supposed to wait for me? When have I ever done what I'm supposed to? He laughed. The sound was broken and beautiful. Never, not once. She pulled back enough to look at him. Rain streamed down both their faces. Marcus is alive. He's testifying. Richard and Victoria were arrested this morning. Don't. They told me. Jackson's hand came up to cup her face, his thumb brushing away tears that mixed with rain. It's over. Finally over, is it? Her voice cracked. Can we ever really be free from this? I don't know. But I know I want to try. He pressed his forehead to hers. With you. If you'll have me, you sacrificed everything for me. I'd do it again. That's what scares me. Sophia's fingers traced the hollow of his cheek. You've spent 12 years punishing yourself for things that weren't your fault. When does it end, Jackson? When do you let yourself be happy? When I'm with you? The answer was simple. True. And stay with me. Not as penance. Not as protection. Just stay. He kissed her. Soft and slow and full of promises. The rain fell harder, washing away the past, leaving only this moment. This truth? When they broke apart, Jackson smiled. Really smiled. Where do we go from here? I bought your company. He blinked. You what? Blackwell Industries. Every share? It's mine now. Ours, if you want it. She grinned through her tears. Someone had to keep your empire running while you were being stupidly heroic. Charlotte Heiress. He shook his head, laughing. You're incredible. I'd prefer CEO Heiress, actually. Has a nice ring to it, that it does. He pulled her close again, his voice dropping to a whisper. I love you. I should have said it 1,000 times. I love you so much it terrifies me. Good, you should be terrified. She kissed him again. Because I love you too, and I'm never letting you go. Even if I'm broken. Especially because you're broken. We can be broken together. They stood there in the rain, two survivors holding each other like lifelines. The thunder rolled. The lightning flashed. And for the first time in 12 years, Jackson Blackwell felt something close to peace. What now? He asked. Sophia smiled. Now we go home. Together. Where's home? Wherever we decide it is. 6 months later, they stood on the steps of the Heiress estate. Not the old mansion, but a new house built on the same land. Clean, bright, unmarked by ghosts. Richard and Victoria were serving life sentences. Marcus Chen had recovered enough to attend the trial, his testimony sealing their fate. Jackson had returned to Blackwell Industries, this time as co-CEO alongside Charlotte. The press called them the most powerful couple in New York. The board called them ruthless. Their competitors called them unstoppable. They called each other by their real names. Ready? Charlotte asked, her hand in his. Jackson looked at the house. Their house. Built on the ashes of tragedy, rising into something new. Yeah, I'm ready. They walked inside together. The space smelled of fresh paint and possibility. No antiques. No portraits. No ghosts. Just them. Charlotte moved to the window, watching the city lights sparkle in the distance. Jackson came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. Thank you, he said quietly. For what? For seeing me, the real me? Not the monster I thought I was. You were never a monster, Jackson. Just a man trying to do the right thing in a world that punishes goodness. We both were.
Oh.
We both still are. They stood in comfortable silence, watching the world move on without them. For so long, they'd been running, hiding, fighting. Now they were simply living. Jackson, do you think we deserve this? Happiness. He turned her to face him, his eyes clear and certain. I think we've survived long enough to earn it. That's all anyone can ask for. And if the past comes back, then we face it. Together. He kissed her forehead. No more running. No more hiding. Just us. Building something worth protecting. Charlotte smiled. Truly smiled. For the first time in what felt like forever. I liked the sound of that, me too. Outside, the rain began to fall. But inside their home, inside the life they'd fought so hard to build, everything was warm. They'd lost so much. Parents, innocence, years of peace. But they'd found each other. And sometimes, in the wreckage of broken things, that's enough. Jackson pulled Charlotte close, breathing in the scent of her hair. I'm going to spend the rest of my life making sure you never regret saving me. No, you didn't need saving. Neither did I. She looked up at him, her green eyes bright with unshed tears. We just needed someone to believe we were worth fighting for. You're worth everything. So are you. They kissed as the rain drummed against the windows. Two broken people making each other whole. Two survivors building a future from the ashes of their past. The road ahead wouldn't be easy. Trauma doesn't disappear overnight. Scars don't fade with a single gesture of love. But they had time. They had each other. And for two people who'd spent so long believing they deserved nothing, that was more than enough. Charlotte Heiress, once a homeless girl selling flowers in the rain, now stood in her own home with the man who'd saved her, who'd sacrificed everything, who'd loved her through every version of herself. Jackson Blackwell, once a broken bodyguard running from his past, now held the woman who'd given him a reason to stop running, who'd forgiven the unforgivable, who'd loved him despite everything he'd done. They were flawed, damaged, haunted. They were also survivors, fighters, lovers, and they were home. Forever? Charlotte whispered against his chest. Jackson smiled into her hair. Forever. Outside, the storm raged on. Inside, they'd finally found peace. The end.